Hello, Ombute, Devi here. Just get checked that the mic's on. So I wanted just to summarize some of the sharing this past month of doing the practices and what has come through for me, and in hopes to just inspire and or trigger or activate. I would use the word activate some truths for you, in contrast and sometimes in alignment with what's moving in me, right? That's kind of how it works. And so last month, April, we're the last day now of the month, was a big thing about labels and identities for me. And not so much what they are, but the relation to, like, my limited sort of expectations and beliefs and identities to these labels, meaning that I thought of myself a certain way, having these titles, having these labels. And so when you've had them for so long, you kind of move, like you have a hat for this and a hat for that, like, and so that's kind of, you're in that, right? So one of the big things for me was like my clinic hat, and I was like, well, I can't be this, I can't be that, because I have to be, this person. And so I come into that field, that energy, and bring that aspect of me out. But it's very limited to where I am now, because now I'm feeling a huge sort of growth edge for me, finding a new rhythm, finding some more ease and relaxation and authenticity in where I am now, and being vulnerable around some of the things that are coming up for me that's unknown, that I do not have much grip on, or a lot of, how should I say, time with yet to really say, okay, this is where it is, that's how you do it, for me. Meaning, like, you can go on a roller coaster and say, hey, yeah, these turns were really rough, and I just don't lean out, just stay in, kind of thing, That's how I feel sometimes when you go through something and you're seeing your friends or loved ones go through them, and you're like, well, this is what happened to me, and this is what I did when that went down, and that helped me. And so it's kind of like that I'm sharing this path, because we all are moving through change. And for me, doing it in a place where we have a practice that can help us integrate all the things that are opening up, all the things that are dying off, and like some of the stuff that really needs to be grounded and held and witnessed, right? Witnessed. It's so important to be witnessed. That's like everything for me, because if I haven't seen it in myself, then it has, then it's going to be unconscious. And if I haven't been seeing myself, sometimes that feels unconfirmed until you start to confirming it yourself, right? It's like a maturity. But one thing for certain, we need each other. We totally need each other, because how we got in trouble in the first place, how we got violated in the first place was like dealing with other people, being with other people, unconsciously or consciously being violated, or indirectly or directly being violated. And when I say violated, that our innocence somehow was violated in the way that we were either deprived from love, in the way that we needed love to show up in our lives. And so, and then we get to learn how to rise above that through anchoring into what never changes and what is always there for us. And that's our source. And so source state for me, I call her, she, and, non-gender, supreme consciousness. And so the practice Following the Rapture has to do with how we follow that inner response, that kinesthetic, that visceral, that embodied movement of joy that comes on board when we access our source, when we come closer to our source state. And we do that by laying down things, by moving through blocked areas, by expanding our inner perspectives, by expanding our limited beliefs, shedding old neurological wiring, and being able to up level a new wiring, a new way of being that it just is so much more efficient for moving into positive change, to affecting positive change. So we are in self-regulation, we are in agency, we are independent of circumstance, maybe not every day, 24 hours a day, but at least most of the time when we want it, when we need it, we can access it, and we know how to get into that place, and we have tools for it. And so this is what the coherence practices are. This is what the descending practices are, and also contributing, making a contribution. So it's not just about our little self; it's about the collective self. So that's why I use the app, and we can monitor, we can monitor and see, and if we can measure something, we can improve something, right? That's what I love. And then we can see the global activity, what people are doing all over the world, anchoring into their hearts and just amplifying and putting in love, compassion, and care into the field. And that's how we stitch a new consciousness, right? And we don't need that many people, because when we are coherent waveforms amplify each other, and non-coherency negates each other. So when people are in non-coherence, they just negate each other, and then they have to get stronger and coarser and louder and to get on top of each other. And this is what the lowest common denominator kind of field is, what's going on right now. And when we elevate, when we come above that and we come into coherence, we amplify each other. So it's a win-win for everyone. And that's what I love about the practice. So there's so much to say about this. I'm so sort of on fire about it, because I love to feel like I'm contributing and not just taking care of my own little boo-boos for my own self. But yes, right? What we take care of in here is affected and, felt out here. So it is our responsibility. But when we do it together in group, it's easier for everyone to access it, and also to be able to contribute while we are doing it. I think it's amazing. And so it just has to do with just raising the awareness of these really, really natural and inherent traits that we have. It's just that now we have technology that actually record and show and can sense these very subtle, powerful intelligence that we are, these ways of communicating, that is actually 99% of our communication. Maybe not 99%, but it's a high percentage. It's not what we say, it's what we say. It's where we are sitting when we say it, So sometimes when we say something and that's not what's going on here, we feel it, right? I mean, we have all had that experience. So when we come into alignment with what's in here and what comes out here, we are incoherent, and that's what is amplified in the field. And that's how we come into our yumminess. And once we come into what we already are, like that's the prosperity, that's our wealth, right? That is our ultimate wealth. And so we are abundance. We don't attract abundance to us by coming into alignment. We actually reveal and discover our abundance that we are, because we're nature. And nature is never separate from us, and nature is abundant by nature. It's inherent in nature, and we are nature, and we are abundant. So when we come into alignment, we come into this place of safety, of groundedness, and agency, we are able to tap in and feel it. Now, I know this is a lot, and we don't always like to access it and feel it and can walk in it and act out from that and make decisions from that place. But the practice is to start moving towards doing that, leading from your own inner source, leading from your own inner wisdom and alignment. So for me, this past month was about identity and dropping them and being able to sit in that unknown and realize that the presence is the unknown, right? So all our old wiring is really trying to prevent us from being hurt, is trying to save us from being injured. And so that's the fear, like protection, that, it's unknown. So that is something that our inherent nervous system is not good with, sitting in the unknown, because it needs to be in the known to be able to be protecting us, right? So anytime we come into the unknown, a lot of things happen unless we cultivate spaciousness around it, meaning that we are aware. We expand our awareness to be able to open up our breath and feel comfortable and present and grounded, and be able to feel that we can trust that we can meet the presence fully anchored, and that we have the answers, we have the everything that we need to respond to the present moment now. And if we don't have it directly, we are connected to source, either through a person or a place or something else that we can, in the moment, we know we remember and we can access. I mean, we just have to learn how to be comfortable being in the presence, because that's where our vulnerability, and that's the strength, right? That's the strength is, because if we are always protecting us, preventing us from trying to feel something, we are always anticipating something, then there's always something holding us back from being fully present. So for me, it was like letting go of these old identities and labels to really like open up the vulnerability aspect of me. And then I realized that you decide who you want to be. And when you decide who you want to be, you start to move towards that. And you decide who you want to be based on what you're feeling in your heart. And whether you see someone or see something, then you go, God, I want that. Or I want to be just like him or just like her. I love that. There's something in that just lights you up. Then you decide, okay, that's what I want to be. And it's only because there's something resonating in you. And then you move towards that. You do everything to go there. And then what is interesting on that path, once you start moving towards that you have decided that you're going to be, you are then discovering that you already are that person that you decided that you want to be. So like, you start coming into it. And that's really interesting, because I've done so many different things in my life. I have, had many different careers and lifestyles and lived in many different cultures and countries. And so I have continuously looking for like, okay, who do I want to be? What aspect of me at this point in time really wants to come forth and mature and open up a breath and be part of my existence? And so this is the thing that is coming through when you let go of titles and labels and all of that. You are ushering forth an aspect of you that now wants to come in to the breath of existence in you right now. And so practices like descending practices and heart practices that we're doing, that I share here, is really helpful to ground the openings, ground the ahas, ground the perspectives, the inner perspectives, so that we can start to utilize them in our everyday life. So that's kind of my share for what the last month has been for me. And I'm so glad that we're on board now with, we have like 8 people on the group on the app, and we've been doing it every day at 12 noon, and we have 2 more days to do it. And then next week we're going once a week midday on Wednesdays on Zoom, just to kind of do the practice, share questions, and just like connect with each other. And while we, on the other days, we'll just do it from where we are when we can do it, but we can see that we're doing it. We're like connected to the field, and that's so yummy. So so just stay tuned and let me know if anyone, just add a comment if there's anyone that has something to add or share about descending practices, coherence practices, experiences, or even like what has moved through you in your practice this last month. Because what happens is, I feel like there's a common theme sometimes in the field that many of us are going through. It's just presenting in a little different way for each and every one of us. But like the undercurrent is fairly, it's the same usually. So I'm always interested in that. But so stay tuned to next time. Thank you so much for coming by and witnessing my share. And I'm going to post some practices shortly. Thank you. So much love here.